Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a video here. I feel like compelled to set the record straight because recently I made a public endorsement of a journalist who has been on the front lines of land defenders and forest defenders, like the people in Fairy Creek and the Wet'suwet'en Nation, and that's Brandi Morin. And I've really appreciated the reporting she does on those fronts, and I became a paid subscriber over on Substack. And then I saw that she put a post out called "A Reporter, a Hotel Bar, and the End of My Illusions About Trudeau." And she shared about her overhearing him say some demeaning, condescending, you know, arrogant stuff that you would expect Trudeau to say behind closed doors in a hotel. So I looked back because I remembered at the time there was a Toronto Star article that came out around the time that Trudeau was telling everyone that people that don't want to receive the mRNA vaccines are mostly misogynists and racists, and asked people, should we tolerate them? And I remember there was this Toronto Star article that came out that said if an unvaccinated person gets sick or needs immediate medical care, they don't deserve an ICU bed. And on the front page, it says, I don't have any sympathy for the unvaccinated, let them die. So I looked through the archives from that time frame because I was curious what other kinds of overtly fascist, psychotic narratives the Toronto Star was publishing at the time. And I stumbled across something I was really taken back, which was published by Brandi Morin. And it was the freedom protests, the Freedom Convoy headed to Ottawa, are white supremacy in all its glory. Now, in this article, she makes the wildly inaccurate and unfounded accusation that the people involved in the Freedom Convoy that were headed to Ottawa and the protesters that joined them after the fact were involved with racist and white supremacist mentality. And I don't know if she even attended it, so I can't speak to that. But I can tell you from my experience of that event, and it was very starkly different than what she portrays in the article. So I asked her if she could set the record straight. Maybe she's learned something since then. I have not received a response since. I still hope she does address it because I know that, working for a big place like Toronto Star, you don't want to piss them off by making them have to revise or revoke a story or say something that contradicts what you've said in their publication. But there were some really kind, brave, compassionate people that went out there to stand up for human rights, and they did so peacefully. I watched the people that were in Ottawa. I saw them making food to give out to the homeless. I saw them cleaning up the streets. There were people of all different genetic backgrounds, heritages, races, different ages that were all there. And there was this one instance where the media found this picture of a swastika flag or a Confederate flag and plastered it all over the CBC and all the other government-controlled propaganda outlets and said they're white supremacists. But as you'll see from these clips that I'm about to show you, unless you want to call these Indigenous women white supremacist misogynists, that wasn't really what was going on the ground. And what people had to say about their experiences there are very starkly contrasted to what is in this article by Brandi Morin on the Toronto Star. So I'd like to set the record straight. You can hear from some people that were actually there and observed it, and just think about it what you will. But I felt the need to speak to this because there was a lot of really brave people that put their life on the line there, put their life on hold, drove across the country to stand up for human rights and ability for people to choose what they put in their body, and to spit on their reputation by calling them white supremacists is just unacceptable in my opinion. So here's the video clip, and you guys make of it what you will.
One Nipissing First Nation member created a bit of a stir when she showed up on Saturday in full regalia. Juanita McLeod also goes by the traditional name O'Day-Minquay. She joined the convoy from Barrie in southern Ontario and joins me now from there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So can you tell me why you decided to support this protest?
I have many reasons why I stood and supported the protest. As a 60s scoop survivor, I have that reason. I have two late uncles and a surviving aunt at residential school. I stood for her. So many people have the misconception that I'm trying to say that we need to forget. I'm not saying that. I'm never going to forget. I lived through that. But the main reason, and the reason, we all have issues that we're standing up for. Every single one of us do. I went for freedom of everybody. And that's part of who I am. I stand up for a lot of other things like I just mentioned. So it's for freedom. We need our freedom.
Now, do you care all that much about vaccine mandates for truckers, which was the organizing reason for this, or did you join for other reasons?
I firmly believe that as Canada being a free country, we should be allowed to make our own choices. We should not be forced to do anything we don't believe in.
And what type of response did you get once your photo began circulating online?
A lot of respect and love. The comments that came in from the East Coast, from the West Coast, people in the States were sending me a lot of beautiful comments and saying thank you for standing up. Thank you for being a part of it and being that voice that we need to stand together.
And what do you think it is that appeals to other Indigenous people about this movement?
My teachings from my elders that I received is to walk with an open heart. When you walk with an open heart, you will learn to walk in harmony. We all want the same common goal. We want our freedoms. We want to be able to protect our waters, our lands. We want to bring our other children that are still yet to be brought home. We still want all that.
Certainly. Did you receive any backlash for showing up and showing a bit of solidarity?
I most certainly did. I actually still am receiving a backlash about it. And again, people are entitled to their opinions. They're allowed to voice their opinions. I'm not judging them for that or, holding anything against them for that. That's their choice. I am going to continue to follow my heart. I'm still going to continue to voice all my issues that I have with the Canadian government. I'm still going to fight for what I feel is right in my heart.
Now, the Canadian Anti-Hate Network has described this convoy as a quote-unquote vehicle for the far right, and there were some Nazi flags and Confederate flags. How concerned were you about being at the same protest as some of these groups?
When I first seen that and I first read up on it, I was a little taken aback. But when I was there and witnessed them, walked by them, they were quite a passive group. For being a white supremacist, they were very passive. So I didn't feel any threat whatsoever. They didn't speak to you. They didn't make eye contact with you. They just walked by you with their flags. So no, I didn't feel any threat.
Did it bother you, though, that these symbols of racism and hate were even there, given how much harm those ideologies have caused?
The thing is with the swastika is that it is a traditional American Aboriginal symbol of prosperity and well-being. It was adopted by the Nazis. So, I still honor that symbol as an Indigenous.
But it wasn't being used in that context, right? It was being used.
I don't think it was. I honestly think that was part of Trudeau's propaganda. I really think that he did put his little minions, as some call them, or goons, whatever they want to call them. I think he did place people there to create that fear. They didn't do anything. They were so passive. I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Well,
Hold the line!
Here comes the horses. Yeah, the horses are coming.
I got a fractured collarbone. I got bruising on I got sore ribs. Doesn't look like I'll be driving anytime soon.
Hold the line!
Here comes the horses. Yeah, the horses are coming. Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Look what you did! Look what you did to her! Look what you did to her! Look what you did to her! You trampled on
country. Everyone. We are human. We have faces, we have smiles, we have tears, joy and pain and grief and love. We deserve to be allowed to show that. We deserve for our children to have friends, to have clubs, to have music classes, to play instruments with their mouths. Flutes, trumpets, you know what I mean? Those kids loud and proud and choir. Where are the choirs? Gone. Where's the wrestling groups and the hockey teams? Gone. Why? Why would we do this to our kids? Why do we do this to our families? We can't be complicit in this anymore. I have had 2 vaccines and the second one made me insanely sick. They want me to get a third one and I ain't doing it. I don't care if I can't go to the bar anymore. You know, this is our home. These are our people. As a land protector, it is my responsibility to stand up for the freedom of this land. This is everyone's home to share in freedom and peace. And if you don't believe that we should have the freedom of choice, then you're wrong. That's it. We don't hate you for not agreeing with us. We don't think that you're a bad person. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. But what's wrong is when you're trying to stop us from having that choice.
Okay, I'm gonna try and keep this under 5 minutes. A lot of you asked me how I feel about the trucker movement, the Freedom Convoy, and white nationalists, supremacists, whatever. Obviously, I don't think it's white supremacist situations happening. That's really fucking dumb, and if you believe that, you likely have mental illness, but you're also the same person that likely let the media convince you to get inoculated 3 times this year for no fucking reason. So the mental illness was just like built in. So like, I understand, like, I'm very sad for you. But where do you think your dumbass masks come from? Like the 9 different masks that you have to match with all of your stupid ass outfits that you don't even look good in. Where do you think they came from? A truck. Even if they came on water, they were put on a truck to bring to the store, and now you have them. Where did all your food come from? A truck. Your gas? A truck. Everything comes from a truck, literally. So these people really won't wake up until like they have no food to eat, or if they're like really underprepared and didn't know that this was coming, which honestly I'm not wishing on anybody, but at the same time, like, I don't not wish it on you because you're a fucking idiot. Like, how are you trying to make this into a race battle? Or that doesn't make any sense. But anyways, truck drivers, they come in all shapes and sizes, they come in all colors, all ages, and both genders, because there's only 2. And the people that are supporting them also, they have the same characteristics. I didn't vote. I never vote. Fuck voting. Fuck the government. I donated, and I support the Freedom Convoy because they're literally fighting for our freedoms and our rights to choose whether we do not want this fucking GMO injection, which I do not fucking want. Disgusting. Literally disgusting. So obviously I think this is just all bullshit. Another media tactic to try and just like divide people even further, but I know the goal is to divide people, but they're doing a really fucking good job because I've just been awoken to all of the stupid fucking people that exist on this earth, and I can't fucking handle it. I can't. There's so many fucking dumb people. Like, how are you making this about race when all they said is they don't want to follow the mandates? Like but yeah, I think it's all fucking bullshit. I cannot stand people that are too far left or too far right. I'm in the middle. I don't vote. I'm not political. If you haven't realized that they're 2 sides of the same coin yet, like, I don't know what to tell you. I actually don't know what to tell you because they literally they're literally funded by the same fucking people. Just like all of our media is funded by 6 companies. Same situation with the political parties, like same fucking situation. But yes, that is what I wanted to say, and I hope that answered anybody's questions. I think it's all bullshit, and anybody that believes it is fucking mentally ill. Also, hold on. The comments were all fucking woke-ass white people. I cannot take woke white people, and I cannot take woke black people. You guys are so fucking annoying. Holy shit, you have a problem with fucking everything. Everything. Like, get a fucking grip, drink a coffee, like, shut up. So, thank you.
The reason I'm out here is because I see a lot of this stuff on social media, and then we see obviously an alternative reality that on the corporate media. I had to come see it for myself, right? And I mean, I don't think it could have been anything better than what I've seen. It was better than what any other social media site showed me. I mean, I saw bouncy castles with kids on it. I saw hay bales. There's hockey games going on over there. People are feeding each other. I don't think I've seen a happier group of people. I've seen somebody walking the Chihuahua around. It doesn't look like the violent protests that people are trying to, paint it to be.
I want you to elaborate on that, because a lot of news media and even politicians such as our Prime Minister have castigated this crowd as if it's motivated by white supremacy, racism, other sorts of bigotries, anti-vax status. Why don't you tell us about what's animating this crowd and about the atmosphere and vibe as you see it, as you feel it?
I definitely can't speak for everybody else, but me personally, this isn't about anti-vax. This is about being the right to choose. And the whole racism and white supremacy, I was born in another country. I was born in South America. I immigrated here. I immigrated here with my family. So I mean, I like to think that I'm far from white supremacy. There's obviously a very multicultural crowd here, and Canada, of all places, had to be the one to do this, because we prove otherwise. We prove that this is a very multicultural group. We prove that this is a very diverse group. And I mean, even behind us right now, there's people singing and dancing. I think it's the complete opposite of what media and politicians have been trying to portray it.
My name is Simran. I am a Sikh. I am a Canadian. And I support the truckers for our freedom!
My name is Nav. I am an Indo-Canadian Sikh residing in BC, and I wanted to come on here to let you guys know that I 150% support the truckers convoy headed to Ottawa. I wish I was there myself, and hopefully we'll be there soon.
Beautiful Kamloops, British Columbia, and I just wanted to say that I'm a Sikh and I support the truckers and everyone standing up for the freedom movement. Go truckers.
Hi, my name is Harpreet and I belong to the Sikh community, and I fully support our truckers convoy to Ottawa, and also support our truckers from United States of America, because I know we are all in this together.
Hey everyone, my name is Parminder Singh, and I support our truckers for the Freedom Convoy 2022 to Ottawa to end lockdowns and mandates for everybody. And let's support our truckers however we can, and we are done with this, man. Enough is enough. Let's end this puppet show and let's support our truckers 100%.
Hello everyone, my name is Sukhwinder Thind from Edmonton, Alberta. I support Truckers Freedom Convoy to Ottawa. I think it's beautiful what you guys are doing. There's no words to express it, but free will is God-given gift, and you guys are doing a great job as a warrior. Thank you.
Evening, I'm Bhupinder Singh Atwal. I'm a British Sikh, and I wanted to say that I support totally the Canadian Freedom Convoy 2022, and I am against vaccine passports, I'm against vaccine mandates, and also I wanted to say to Jagmeet Singh, shame on you, boy, shame on you.
Hi, I'm a Sikh from BC, Canada, and I support the Canadian Truckers Freedom Convoy to Ottawa to end all these vaccine mandates for everyone. Thank you.
When I'm watching a lot of news media, I keep hearing about white supremacy. You don't seem to look like a white supremacist to me. Is there something going on here?
Listen, to me, white supremacy as a whole is a red herring. They always mention white supremacy. White supremacy who? Give me his name, give me his business, give me his location. So it's always about a red herring. So I'm not gonna fall for these kind of narrative. If you see me, do I look like a white supremacist? I don't know.
You don't.
Maybe. So anyway, so I'm not even part of that narrative. I'm not even supporting that. I don't even want to talk about it, to be honest. So let's just put that on the side because we already know what that is. So it's propaganda, provocateurs, and all that stuff.
Yeah. So we're part of the Sikh faith, which is the 5th largest religion in the world. And anywhere you see that orange flag in the back, it's in front of our place of worship known as the Gurdwara. Whenever you go there, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they have a community kitchen. You can receive a free meal, irregardless of what faith you're from, what caste, creed, religion, doesn't matter. It's about the community kitchen. We all eat as one and humanity's equal. So the Seva concept, helping the community, is what we're practicing here today. We're here alongside the truckers in the fight for freedom, and we're doing our part from the Sikh faith. And we welcome everyone to come and have some samosas, some tea, and some French fries.
Beautiful. Look at this, guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Sukhdeep Singh from Kamloops, BC. I'm a proud and grateful supporter of the Freedom Convoy. Firstly, my heart goes out to anyone who's suffering hardships because of this agenda. I'm not surprised the media is making this about Confederate flags and racism. And if you work for these institutions and you're pushing this agenda, you should be ashamed of yourself. I've dealt with real racists in my life, and a lot of white-skinned brothers have stood beside me in that fight. Right now, I think the globalist World Economic Forum puppets that have infiltrated our politics and our institutions are the greatest threat to us, not some idiots holding a Confederate flag. Your divisive hate speech only brings us together. Thanks, everybody. Stay strong.
Hey man, come here. Come here, my man. So, the media says there's racism here. Is there racism?
Okay, let me tell you something about that. It's funny that you ran into me of all people.
Apparently.
Okay? I was here the first day of Ground Zero. I actually spoke on stage. I actually saw the guy with a swastika flag.
So it was a real thing.
It was a real thing. But this is what they didn't tell you. You know, we know what it is. It's a push towards this new world order of total submission and control. You know, stripping citizens of their rights, stripping us of our dignity. You know, stripping us of our fundamental freedoms. And you take a look at it. You've got this thing that's called the Charter of Rights, and we can talk about how sections 2, 3, 4, 7 travel. I have the right to travel in this country as a Canadian citizen that was born on University Avenue, whose sister is the head of a big branch of the military. But I can't do that because I have decided, because of my heart issues, to not get vaccinated. I can't travel. I can't represent this country in track and field, which is what I do, which is my thing, because of these measures. And this is the thing, when I said to Trudeau when I was on the stage, come out and talk to us.
Who are you guys? I gotta ask, how many racists have you ran into? Other than me, how many racists?
Oh my God! Listen,
well, besides me, zero.
Zero. So your prime minister is lying. There's no racist, white supremacists, no extremists, and no misogynists are down here. We're all loving people, and the only way we could gather here is because of love and the peace that we have inside each other. So it's all love out here, brother.
And we're proud to be the fringe minority.
Yes. All right, and these are your friends, or are you guys all friends?
We just met, but we're all friends.
That's the good part about it, man. You know, we're all strangers, and look at it.
This is the unity that we just spoke about.
If we're racist, then I don't know, man. Right. This is how we share.
This is the best racism I've ever experienced.
Group hug.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Come on, this is love. This ain't love, no racism, no hate. This is all love.
Canada. Canada.
Canada.
So yeah, what do you guys think? Were those misogynist white supremacists? I'll let you guys decide for yourself. And in closing, I'm going to share a couple clips that James Corbett did on that situation because, of course, him and James Evan Pilato have an excellent way of characterizing events within a broader context and with a vivid clarity of what's actually going on in the broader scheme of things. So check out those clips and then check out the links below to where James Corbett covered the commission, because the total farce of a commission on the government declaring the War Emergencies Act so they could go in there with militarized police and crush anyone that was trying to ask for their bodily autonomy to be respected was a total disgrace, and obviously a sign that, you know, Canada can't even pretend to be a democratic nation whatsoever anymore when it's just doing overt totalitarian criminalization of dissent and then justifying it in the court system. So check that out and let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks, guys.
But first, Canadian province caves to the public, abandons planned vax tax on the unvaccinated. Quebec Premier Francois Legault announced yesterday the province would abandon plans to impose a tax on unvaccinated residents, citing unfavorable public opinion. I understand that this divides Quebecers, and right now we have to build bridges, Legault told reporters at a press conference, according to the CBC. That's government news reporting on government agents. My role is to try to bring Quebecers together to stay as united as possible. Legault had announced plans in early January to tax residents who had not taken the COVID-19 vaccine, citing a burden they were placing on the province's health networks. Those who refuse to receive their first dose in the coming weeks will have to pay a new health contribution, Legault said at the time. I know the situation is tough, but we can get through this together if you do exactly as we say. We need to focus our efforts on two things: getting the first, second, and third doses of the vaccine. So that's three things in one. And reducing our contacts, of course, especially with older people, because the state's going to murder them and you might feel kind of attached to them and stuff. Legault announced yesterday that the government would abandon the planned tax in favor of alternative measures, such as door-to-door service for at-home vaccinations, citing growing discontent among the public and, of course, the need for social cohesion. But that really is just the start. I think it's all the pushback action seems to be happening in Canada. Saskatchewan Premier says he will remove vaccine mandate, but won't commit to a date. Premier Scott Moe says Saskatchewan's proof of vaccination against COVID-19 has run its course, but he wouldn't commit to removing the requirement before it expires at the end of the month anyway. In other Canadian freedom news, Freedom Convoy in Canada accesses $1 million in that once frozen viral fundraiser. A lot of this is an update of what we talked about last week, James. GoFundMe account for Canada anti-vaccine mandate truckers nears $10 million mark. GoFundMe has distributed $1 million in Canadian dollars, that is 783,000 American dollars, to a trucker convoy in Canada protesting COVID-19 vaccine mandates. Funds for the Freedom Rally or Freedom Convoy viral campaign, which has raised more than $7 million, were frozen last week after GoFundMe said it needed to see a plan for how the funds would be disbursed. It's really interesting. I'm sure they do that to everybody. So how are you going to pay for your family hardship? I want to see the result, the receipts, the plans. Tamara Litch, who set up the Freedom Convoy 2022 campaign on GoFundMe, said funds will be used to reimburse Canadians for gas and food expenses incurred while participating in the whole big Freedom Convoy. And the last awesome bit, truckers, organizers, providing meals in downtown Ottawa. Truckers are providing meals for the homeless in downtown Ottawa. Zero mainstream media coverage. Organizers also have pop-up pizza ovens cooking food for everybody all over the place. These are the people Canada's first black prime minister, Justin Trudeau, is calling unacceptable. James, that is some not unmitigated good news from up north.
Indeed, it is. It is good news. Let's not be... But I want to highlight something else that I pointed out in that editorial, where I wrote, the Freedom Convoy in Canada is a good thing. Can it be corrupted and co-opted? Of course. Can agent provocateur go in and provoke acts of violence or destruction in the name of freedom lovers? Of course. Will the entire spectacle cement in the minds of some that our fundamental freedoms are the government's to give or to take away, and that our only option is to ask them for our rights back? Of course. But absolutely any movement or protest or idea in the world can be spun to portray freedom lovers as violent or dangerous or silly people by those who control the mass media. The point is that we know people who are supporting the convoy for the right reasons. We know that there is a tidal shift in public opinion happening in Canada right now, and that the political puppets are working so hard to demonize it or run away from it, right, Justin? Precisely because it can represent a storming of the Bastille moment for a genuine freedom movement, and we can bypass the mass media control and directly influence the public's understanding of these events for ourselves. Yes, why are we sitting here waiting for the CBC or CTV or some of these controlled outlets to start reporting truthfully on matters like this? We know that they won't. They are going to push as hard as they can on the propaganda narrative that these horrible, violent, disruptive, racist, misogynist protesters are horrible people. And look, they're waving Nazi flags. That's totally a genuine grassroots spontaneous part of what's going on right now. And oh, they're harassing people at food kitchens. Meanwhile, they're literally feeding homeless on the street, but never hear a thing about that in the control media. Of course, that's not what they are there to do. Stop waiting for the CBC to report the truth. That is not their job. That is our job. We know this. We can spread this information to others, and we are having that effect. Oh, sorry about that. Apparently it's in the envelope. And the loser is Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, for the small fringe minority of people who are on the way to Ottawa, who are holding unacceptable views that they are expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know of that following the science, and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, not only was Canada's own Prime Minister the spreader of the biggest fake news story of the year, but the absolutely sickening way that the official stenographers and lapdogs of the Canadian press fell into line to denigrate peaceful protesters demanding their basic human rights in one of the most oppressive countries on the planet was one of the most disgusting displays of disinformation and gaslighting ever seen. There was, of course, the government-owned CBC with their assertion that the Freedom Convoy protesters were being secretly aided, funded, or organized by those dastardly Russians.
Given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
A baseless piece of weaponized, and as was later confirmed, utterly false speculation, so galling that even the CBC ombudsman had to conclude that it breached the CBC's own journalistic standards and practices guidelines, noting that this loaded hypothetical question with no factual basis whatsoever did not meet the standard to clearly explain the facts or contribute to the understanding of issues of public interest. And who can forget the CBC's February 11th report? Convoy protest received hundreds of donations that appeared to be from abroad, which claimed that the most common source for foreign donations was the United States. A report that was later revealed to be fake news when GoFundMe stated that in fact 88% of donated funds originated in Canada, and most were small, ordinary individual donations by ordinary law-abiding citizens, a fact that the CBC quietly buried on its corrections and clarifications page, but didn't append to the article. But of course, this wasn't just a barrage of fake news from the Canadian Prime Minister and his accomplices in the Canadian government's de facto state-funded CBC mouthpiece. No. This was a team effort involving all of the controlled corporate dinosaur media liars who were part of Trudeau's $600 million bailout back in 2019. It involved the Toronto Star, which falsely reported that loaded shotguns had been found amongst the convoy, a fact later refuted by the Ottawa police chief himself. It involved Global News, which falsely reported that 2 men attempting to set an Ottawa apartment building on fire were part of the Freedom Convoy, and had to update their story to indicate that they had indeed reported fake news. And it involved CTV, who took a moment out of reporting fake news and lies about the protesters to remind us who are the real victims in all of this. The poor, beleaguered dinosaur media, who, for some reason or other, is one of the targets of Canadians' ire. But what really takes the cake in all of this is that after making his first fake, false, dishonest, manipulative, lying, deceitful, baseless, untrue allegations about the peaceful freedom protesters, Trudeau had the nerve to gaslight the public at the Emergency Commission, denying that he ever called the protesters names in the first place.
Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi.
A number of people have testified in this inquiry referencing your widely published comments and calling the unvaccinated racists and misogynists. And we have heard testimony in this inquiry about how some of your officials wanted to label protesters as terrorists. Would you agree with me that one of the most important roles of a prime minister is to unite Canadians and not divide them by engaging in name calling?
I did not call people who were unvaccinated names.
Yes, Trudeau and all the lying liars of the corporate toady establishment media are laughing at you, smugly smiling as they feed you a feces sandwich and expect you to eat it. So, to all of those liars who helped to propagate the lies about the Freedom Convoy, this dino's for you, and it's well earned. Now, what we're doing here today is trivial. It's silly. But there's a point to it. They are laughing at you, but we are laughing back at them.